Hey, what is up everyone, Blade here, and welcome back to another video of Persona 5 The Phantom X. Inside today's video, guys, we're going to be going ahead and going over AKIHIKO, seeing that he should be releasing for the global audience very soon. If you guys are interested in this, be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. Things that we're going over in this video mainly is going to be AKIHIKO's kit, anything regarding his teams and weapons as per usual, and then of course what I believe they need to change, because I won't lie, they did my favorite character pretty darn dirty when he did come down to this game. So let's go ahead and talk about it. AKIHIKO is our first AoE electric DPS that's going to be coming out very soon here, and this is regarding the only AoE DPS for electric that we pretty much have in the entire game. It's very interesting to see that we haven't gotten many of these dudes here, but he is still a cool character. He's a cool character. He has everything that he really wants to have, but the only unfortunate part, this was in between the time period of just P5X going through a major damage spike, and I mean a huge one. For AoE DPSs, he was at the pinnacle at the top for this, and I would like to say, unfortunately, he got outdone immediately by like S-Puppet and Luce. So there's a few things that are wrong with this character. First of all, he is complete at the A0R0 standpoint. That's mainly because every last one of his functions you're able to do, whether that means you getting up these stacks called obsession stacks that eventually will lead him detonating them all and using a powerful punch that's going to knock them all down. And he really needs that function. So he's able to do everything perfectly fine with his current kit that he does have, which is an actual good thing. Only downside about this is it does take a hot minute. As you can see for the cons here, it's going to take a long time. And the reason for that is because he has to go through skill 1, his skill 2, then his skill 3, just to hurry up and deal most of his damage. This is not including keeping the special stacks that you need for the punch, which is going to excel at knocking down the enemy so he can deal even more damage. But to understand what all of this means, of course, we have to go ahead and look at his kit and understand where he's coming from as a character. So at A0 Reason to Fight, AKIHIKO is pretty much able to use a 30 skill or a regular skill, and as long as it deals damage, he gains these things called obsession stacks. These said obsession stacks, he will start with 2 of them, and they can stack up to 12 times. Once you get a certain amount of them, which is about 6 obsession stacks, you can then use an extra function that you'll see pop up on your screen called an unstoppable punch, and this will allow you to hit every enemy in front of you. Alongside of this, you are gaining yourself fighting spirit stacks, which is obviously going to help you out with dealing more damage with the extra pierce rate that you can have as well, and this will stack up to 3 times, and this is technically counting as a resonance ability, which is technically a follow-up. Now, with this all in mind, you would think it sounds pretty darn good. The only issue is to gain these set obsession stacks, as we said, is going to be from skills and 30s. Well, in order to get this a little bit quicker, you have to use the skill 2. This is the only way you're going to be able to get these 6 stacks very fast here, meaning every last one of your skills are very crucial. You cannot skip this at all here, making the character always a 3-turn unit. Majority of our DPSs, whether they are single target or AoE DPSs, they are always a 2-turn rotation, and on the off chance they are a skill or like a 3-turn rotation, the way of making it up there, you deal a ton of damage with their other skills. AKIHIKO is the opposite of this. Both his first skill and his second skill are pretty lackluster when it does come down to damage, and the 3 skill is the only one that really matters. Unfortunate enough, the only way to get these set obsession stacks are from the first and second skills here, with the second skill also giving you 2 extra obsession stacks, really allowing you to trigger his allowing you to trigger his punch, and that's the huge issue. With the damage that they deal, which is on the first skill, Lightning Domain, you only deal about 122.8% of attack here, and this is increased based on AKIHIKO's crit damage. It would sound like this is very good, seeing he is a crit damage DPS, but the only downside about this is it really doesn't do that much. Seeing it is a setup skill, the 122 isn't honestly that much, and it gets even lower with the second skill being Lightning Impact at 92.1%. These are all just stepping stones for AKIHIKO himself, allowing his skill 3 to deal the most that he can deal, which is a huge issue. Seeing that the DPS is only on that 3rd skill, it's just not enough. And this isn't even getting into the 30 itself, his lightning spike. Lightning Spike itself costs 140 third G energy, which is the highest third G energy move that we've already seen with the upcoming characters. Both Makoto Yuki and of course Yukari did not have their third G energy this high, and this man Akihiko takes the cake for it immediately. This does help him deal a lot of damage, but the problem is with this move set, you can only get it once in the blue moon. So if you're a person who's trying to get this very often, it's just not going to happen. It's kind of forcing you to want to use Yukari, and that's even a problematic error there, seeing that Yukari herself, one, is not the best in slot for this character, and two, it's just still on making it not even be that many theurgies that you can get off here. You think you get probably 2 extra with her in there, and it's just not going to be enough damage markers, which is where this character starts to slowly fall off. Now, of course, he does have some extra things here that are pretty darn nice, such as his passives, being that as long as the enemy is knocked down, he's able to increase his damage by 30%, and his upholding the passive here, which after dealing crit damage increases his attack by 13.5% for 3 turns. And this can stack, of course, but it's just not enough. We have the assist skill, but this can only be triggered once for the 20% extra crit damage, and as usual, it's just not needed. It's not enough for this character to really hang in. And the reason why I keep saying that is because we have 2 juggernauts that are coming up right after, being Luce as well as Summer Puppet. If you can see the damage spike in between that time period, Akihiko himself, being a 3-turner at all periods, is just not dealing anything that he needs to deal. If we look at Luce himself, Luce is a character that always has a 2-turn aspect, is allowing him to deal record-breaking numbers, insane amounts. And then we can go ahead and look at Summer Puppet, who's doing pretty much the same thing, which is also a 2-turn aspect. And with her, she has follow-up central every single round. So Akihiko kind of got left behind in the dust, which makes it very saddening. So even with all of his awarenesses here and him being complete at the A0 aspect, he really did fall off. There are some ways to fix him, but of course, we're going to go over that after we look at his weapons. For his weaponry here, we have, of course, the 4-star weapon and the 5-star weapon. The 4-star weapon itself gives you all you technically need, which is the attack percent, as well as whenever we have 2 or more fighting spirit stacks, we get extra attack, which is also nice. But seeing that this character is a crit damage demon, you really do want to have his 5-star weapon. His 5-star weapon gives you a 36.3% a critical damage increase, alongside with the increase in critical rate by 8.2%, which is also really nice to have, including extra increased damage for resonance and his persona skills and 3rd damage by 34%. Now, this is very nice. These are very good weapons. The only thing I hate about them is the looks of the weapons, but they are insanely good weapons. The 4-star honestly isn't too great. It's all right, but it does get the job done, while the 5-star gives you absolutely everything that you want to have, helping out his obsession stacks even more so, and pretty much just insanely boosting his kit. The main issue with this character, and what I would change to make him a little bit better for a lot of you guys, is one, to try and not anchor everything on his skill 2, or try not to anchor everything on a 3-turn rotation. Many of our characters, whether they are single target or AoE, all are banking on 2-turn rotations. I do think Akihiko needs something of that sort in order to give him that extra push, which will allow him to go for a 2-turn rotation. Granted, I highly doubt they're going to change this character like that, because fundamentally, he is a sound character. He's just missing out on the damage categories. We didn't see anything during the live stream, so I don't know if they're really going to boost him like that, but I do think that the character himself does need a little bit of an extra push, which is going to be that. Another thing that I feel like with this character that he does need is a huge bonus on his skill 3. If we're not going to boost his obsession stacks on any type of level when it comes down to his skill 1 or skill 2, we need to boost the damage of his skill 3 by a lot. Because since we can only get to it every 3 turns, oh, excuse me, almost coughed there, 3 turns, we need to make sure, of course, this does the most damage it can deal to pretty much just have some lingering effects. Or if anything, make his knockdown deal more damage. Instead of it being like 30%, boost it to 50% on knockdown enemies. Seeing that his main get to or go to thing is to knock down the enemy to get that increased damage, we want to make sure that when they are knocked down, they feel that every time he uses a skill 3. I do think this is a very necessary change for AKIHIKO, and is the only thing that is going to make him very viable, or at least useful. No matter what, inside of his own field, aka electric damage that requires an AoE DPS, he is insanely good for that. But if it's anywhere else, unfortunately the character's not even good enough for generality, because even then you can't speed run with the character. His AoE moves are a little bit lackluster in hitting, and just for him to clear properly, you need that third turn. So even general use, he's just not all the way there. So they do need to change a few things about him. Now, going ahead and going over his team before we close on out here, AKIHIKO is a very flexible character. His main best in slot is going to be Blitz, of course, if you're able to have this, because Blitz is able to knock down the enemy as well as reduce their down points. Now, everyone else inside of this, no matter what, you just want to make sure he's getting pinned, make sure he's getting crit damage of some sort. So you're obviously going to see the same people here, such as Wind Tempest, who's usually useful for crit damage, or Turbo, who's very useful for like attack and pin, which is a very good thing. You have some niche characters like Matoy, who is a decent down character as well for a debuffer, though if you end up going ahead and getting a debuffer, you're always going to use Blitz, so I kind of write her on out. And if we are using Yukari, it's probably just because we need that extra 3G here, and most likely it's going to be for guild boss opportunities. I don't really see this team used anymore as much. This was like the team that we used at the beginning, same as Matoy where we used at the beginning. But after a while, a lot of us noticed that this was not going to cut it. So we started to just going ahead and doing something like this until Blitz came out, which made a lot more useful uses of AKIHIKO, seeing that with Anj and AKIHIKO, you're able to obviously do multiple turn hits, and this makes this a lot better. But granted, AKIHIKO himself is a very good character. He's pretty darn cool. It's just the character himself doesn't get the stacks that he needs in order to deal the amount of damage he needs to deal. They did him very dirty, and I really do hope they do my character right, especially on the global end, because then that means it's eventually going to come to TW as well, and I can have some more fun with the character. As always, pull who you want to pull at the end of the day. That is what makes the game fun. That is what you want to do. So don't let this video sway you like that at all, especially if you really like the character. But do keep in mind, anniversary is coming out, and boy, it's going to be busted. Till then, everybody, stay sharp. Peace on out.